This hippo is about to fight for his life. In this video, we will see every deadly step in a hippo's life and face the biggest threat in the African rivers. This story begins the moment you're born. 100 pounds of pure cuteness, taking your first wobbly steps on the riverbank. Fresh into the world, ready to take on life's adventure. Full of life, and you're gone. Okay, let's give this another go. You're about to face your first challenge. You just spawned underwater, but you can't swim. Hippos can't physically swim. They walk underwater. But if you can't find a way to reach the surface in the next seconds, you will drown. The key here is to sink first. Then push off the riverbed into your mom's fat belly and... You're still terrible at this. You've got 2 weeks to figure this out. To avoid instant life retiring threats, females give birth away from the main pod. Your next challenge is when things get brutal, as you instinctively follow your mommy out of the safety of your nursery puddle and take your first steps into the unknown, scary, dangerous African bush. You suddenly realize you never met your dad or the rest of your family. Did they abandon you? Was it your face? Are they still alive? Who knows? You need to stay focused and not lose sight of your bodyguard. To survive the journey ahead, you're gonna have to cross the African bush. You might end very badly if you're too slow or get separated from your mom. Predators will try their best to separate you from your mom, but this is your lucky day. After a long walk with your fat mom under the scorching sun, with some very close face-offs, you reach your final destination. You just arrived to the main river, where the rest of the pod lives. Every living animal miles around comes to drink here, and every single one of them here is a potential threat. Crocodiles can be disrespected, but only when your mom's around. One moment of inattention and you're gone, and don't expect any help from your kin. If you get too close to other males, they won't hesitate to eliminate future competition. Actually, every other larger hippo that is not your mom will bully you. Here, even the river wants to drown you, but if you stay out of the water for too long, you're either predator food or target practice for mad elephants your mom can't fight. The only way to survive this place is to stay again very close to your fat mom. She fights back younger bulls, and she is your only line of defense against the meat eaters, and will provide milk and protection against the current. The problem is that at night she needs to eat. Every night since you reach this place, she leaves the river and wanders into the bush with the other hippos to graze and leaves you alone in the darkness. Your friends try to follow their moms, but this is not the best strategy. The majority of hunters are more active at night, and being too far from the water for a hippo your size isn't very safe. Plus, you already tried the grass and it just hurts your tummy. The best strategy here is to stay in shallow waters, not too deep to avoid drowning and crocs. This is not as safe as having your bodyguard around. Without the protection of your mom, you're an easy meal, but it's still better than walking around in the bush at night. But fear not, this situation is very short-lived. Every day for the last month, you've been swimming and drinking in the same water mixed with dookie, other hippos' dookie, your mom's dookie. Disgusting. But for some reason, instead of getting sick, you feel stronger now. You're growing fast and have a stronger appetite. And one night, you're so hungry that your instinct kicks in again. And against all fears, you follow your fat mom into the darkness. You might be bigger now, but you're still no match for the predators around here. As she wanders further and further inland, looking for more food, you're now too far from the safety of the river. If something happens, the only option here is to run back to safety while she squares off with the meat eaters. Surprisingly, the grass now tastes better than the milk. Turns out eating all that dookie is normal for grass eaters, and it's the only way for you to get the bacteria that are able to process and digest the grass. So you eat, sleep, poop and repeat your way to the next stage of your life. But who would have guessed that you're about to face the most brutal, bloody, challenging part of your life? Staying away from troubles, you're now a 4,000-pound teenager with an attitude. You don't hesitate to flash your newly upgraded gear and can handle cracks on your own. The problem during this phase is that you can't stop staring at Gloria. What you don't know is that you're about to mingle with the pod hierarchy. Every pod is ruled by a dominant bull. Only him have access to the ladies, and he doesn't like how much time you spend around Gloria. So he confronts you. He has 1,000 pounds on you, and make no mistake, he will fight to the death for Gloria. Your fat mom won't protect you this time. Gloria is watching. If you back down now, you lose everything. You square off, you flex your shiny gear, and you clash. You're exhausted already, but he is not done. You never felt this kind of strength before. You try to hide within the pod, but he pushes you toward the edge of the river, and you can't sustain any more injuries. It doesn't look like he wants to stop, so you have only one solution left: run for your life. Now you're alone in the bush. No protection, no backup. And if this wasn't bad enough, you got banished at the beginning of the dry season. Without water, you won't last long. Young bulls at this age will go for different strategies. Some look for other pods and try to blend in and submit to the dominant bull. This is the safest move, but you're destined for more. Driven by the humiliation you just faced in front of Gloria, you choose the most dangerous path: roaming the bush in search for a territory of your own. You have been walking for hours now, but you're walking in the wrong direction. This far from the main river, there is not enough food or water to sustain you, and you have to face enemies on your own. This phase is critical for younger bulls. It's the time for you to test your limits, see what you are made of, and face your biggest fears. So you fight. Again. And again. And again. But you get cocky, and somewhere along the way, you bite off more than you can chew, charging headfirst into a disaster. After a few additional weeks in the bush, you understand which fight you can take and when you need to run. But in the African bush, the sun is your biggest enemy. If you don't find water soon, you're in serious trouble. Your skin sweat mucus that protects you from the heat and helps keep your injury from getting infected. Lucky for you, you found a small pond. It's enough to quench your thirst for a few days, but in the dry season, it doesn't last long, so you have to leave again. Exhausted. Thirsty, pushing forward with every last drop of strength in your body. But this time, you instinctively head back toward the main river. Larger bulls rule this territory, and the river is almost dry anyway. But the situation is extreme. You've got nothing to lose. You try to sneak in, but the local dominant bull have other plans, so you fight. Another loss, but this time, you can't wait for your wounds to heal. Your skin is dry, cracking, and it's only a matter of hours before you succumb to dehydration. You have to keep pushing upstream to find water. During this phase, the majority of young males get cancelled from life, unable to find water, unable to face larger bulls. But you've learned from your mistakes, and upstream you go. Water again, but it's heavily guarded. Even in better condition than your previous pond, a strong pride of lions can easily bring you to the ground and end your miserable life. You have already burned through the last bit of energy you had during your previous fight. But again, you have no choice. Lions are fast, but you're bigger. This water is your only chance of survival. Your weeks in the bush taught you how to stand your ground, how to push back, how to use your strength. And with this victory, you might survive the dry season after all. The first rain marks the end of the dry season, breathing life back to the African savanna. You have been wandering for more than a year now. You have more scars, more experience, and know how to fight back. It's time for you to face your greatest challenge yet, to rise from a banished bull to the River King. You see the herd of your dreams, lush grass and a larger riverbank. You spot the beach master. He won't submit without a fight. But this time, you have a plan and you step into the arena, challenging his authority, ready to fight for dominance. He has more scars, more fights, but he is older. Water is his element. Your plan is to lure him to the river edge. Most of your fights have been on solid ground. But as you square off, memories of your previous fights flood your mind. The pain, the defeat. For a split second, panic sets in. You try to run away, but there is no escaping this fight. But you remember, Gloria, the shame, never again. So you push back. You corner him against the cliff, cutting his escape. You are both badly wounded, but he is older and exhaustion grips him first. He tries retreat into the river, but this is your moment. Victory is yours. The next years might be the most glorious part of your life. Everyone respects you now. You have fought so many battles that you know how to deal with external threats, how to protect your pod, and you're too big now for younger bulls to defeat. You even have kids, and you know when to move your pod upstream during the dry season. Fast forward a couple decades, you're now an old bull, still a very good fighter, slow but experimented. But guess what? You still have to fight, and the younger bulls that you previously bullied are back. They're bigger now, and they will take turns fighting you every single day, defying your authority, sometimes even multiple times a day. Plus, losing to them would mean leaving your babies unprotected. A new dominant bull could decide to eliminate every calf that is not his. So you fight for hours, and no matter how many you take down, they keep coming. Again, and again, and again. Until the inevitable happens. You took a bad hit. If you keep fighting, this might be the end for you. But you can't let this arrogant bull take what you have fought for and protected all these years. One last fight. One last charge. You win. The bull escapes. You manage to protect your family for one additional day. But this time at a heavy cost. You won the fight, but this is your final battle. Please subscribe.